Greetings and welcome back to the Jacksonville Buzz. Now, in 2009, the Jacksonville Public Education Fund was established purely and simply to help improve public schools in the Duval County area. And joining me in the studio today is Rachel Tutwiler Fortune, the Executive Vice President of the Jacksonville Public Education Fund, and our one and only Buzz contributor, Miss Angela Spears. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you? It's good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
It's an exciting conversation that we're going to have because it's a huge task that you have on your hands. How do you achieve such an excellent outcome for your students?
Well, thank you for asking, and thank you so much again for having me. In our community, unfortunately, students of color, students who are from low-income backgrounds don't always have the same educational opportunities or outcomes as their peers. So we at the Jacksonville Public Education Fund are really focused on helping to close the opportunity gap for our local students. We really believe it is imperative, and it's our community's responsibility to make sure every child has access to a high-quality public education. So we're leveraging our capacities in data and research, community engagement, policy analysis, really helping our community make strategic investments to help improve our public schools.
And Rachel, as Executive Director of JPEF, are you also working with teachers, with the educators in the school system? Because it is important to involve the community, but what about the educators who are there on the grounds?
Absolutely, and I'm so glad you asked that question. You know, what we have found throughout our work is that really making sure that we attract and retain great teachers, that we strengthen the school leadership pipeline. Those are some of the most pressing issues facing our public schools. And so we have determined as the forward-looking focus of our organization to really focus specifically on those areas. And we've been working to really celebrate, elevate, and empower our educators as a critical focus of our organization.
Now, Duval County is a huge area. How many schools are under your guidance?
Well, we do have a lot of schools in Duval County, and the Jacksonville Public Education Fund is really focused on strategic improvements in all of our public schools. We have specifically determined that in order to move the needle for the students I described earlier, our students of color, our low-income students, then we need to really focus on our Title I schools. And so we're focused on those that, really serve the largest percentage of our low-income students.
And are you working on specific issues? Because you're getting the community involved. You guys do surveys, right? You're talking with the community, you're talking with businesses. What issues, as we're going into this new school year, school just started for kids in Duval County yesterday, what issues are you really focusing on?
I love that question. As we celebrate 10 years of impact, JPEF is especially excited to be launching our new school leadership initiative. And as a part of that work, what we're really doing is focusing on 4 key areas. We're really building the capacity of our school leaders to help attract and retain great teachers. We're focusing on helping them to build the culture and climate of their school building that will contribute to all of their students being supported to be successful. So that includes addressing disciplinary practices that are impartial to some students, as well as building healthy relationships and just really an environment in which teachers are supported to ensure their students are successful. Students feel like this is their special place to belong. The third area that we're really focused on is family and community engagement and really supporting our leaders to help effectively engage parents and community stakeholders around the success of our young people. And last but not least, our principals really are the CEOs of their small organizations, and we don't always think of them in that way. So we really want to help build the leadership capacity of the school principals themselves so that they feel that they can effectively use data, they can effectively strategically plan and really help retain the employees and the staff that will help ensure the success of the young people.
Now, you mentioned that it's 10 years that it's been established, and your anniversary is very soon, if not now.
That's right. Right now, we're excited.
Now. What are you particularly proud of that has happened over the last 10 years that you think this is particularly significant for the Jacksonville Public Education Fund?
Well, thank you for that question. There's so much that, our organization and really our community has to be proud of in terms of the progress we've made in public education. 10 years ago when JPEF was founded, our graduation rate was 55%. And today, we are so pleased at the progress we've made. 85+% of our students are graduating high school. And, why is that so significant to the Public Education Fund? Of course, it's significant for our students because we need to see them graduated from high school. But, when JPEF was founded at its inception, what we were really focused on is helping to raise awareness of the dropout epidemic. At the time, 1 in 3 students wasn't graduating from high school within 4 years. Wow. And so we launched at the time our 1 in 3 exhibit, our 1 by 1 campaign that really helped to raise awareness of the dropout epidemic, but it also helped to catalyze community action to tackle the issue. I'm personally passionate and proud of that work because some people know this is my second stint with the Public Education Fund. I've been back for about 2 years now. And, in my previous work with the organization, I helped to spearhead our 1 by 1 campaign. And it was just such an important effort to really get, thousands of community stakeholders connected to these messages, and also to get, at least 1,600 community members involved in conversations to help define a vision for our public schools. And I believe the conversations that our community had at the time really positioned us as a community to effectively address some of those areas that the community identified.
And right now, we know one of the major issues that people in the community they're talking about is this half-cent sales tax when it comes to our schools. And where does just JPEF stand on that? Because we've been seeing in the news about our schools. Some of them have deteriorating conditions. You see things where things need to be done, and the school board wants us to go to a vote in this fall. The city council, maybe not so much when next year. Where does JPEF stand on this issue?
Sure. Well, thanks for that question, Angela. Research shows that the quality of our learning facilities really matters. And there's really no denying that. We see that when we have effective learning facilities or safe learning facilities for our young people to study in, teachers, principals, the students themselves, they're able to focus on the learning. And so, what we have over time been able to do as an organization is to really poll the community to understand whether they would have an interest in supporting a tax increase to support our public schools. And we've heard consistently over the years that the community would support that. In fact, in our poll this year, 78% of residents told us that they would be willing to support a tax increase for school facilities in particular.
So are you guys taking a position on it, getting out there, pushing it, or just kind of doing that research to letting our educators know this is what people want? Is that really your role?
Yeah, honestly, as you mentioned, we're very pleased to see our community having this conversation. We are helping to connect people to facts and information about this issue. We're happy that the school board is convening with the city council, I believe tomorrow, actually Wednesday. And, frankly, we would love to see our community leaders come to consensus so that we can get this issue on the ballot, because we know that our facilities are in dire need, particularly in the communities that require the most support.
Well, thank you, Rachel, for coming in. It's such an important subject, and it's wonderful to know that there has been a significant difference between 2009 and 2019. So thank you for coming in and telling us more about it.
We appreciate you, Rachel.
You.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you all for having me.
Keep the conversation going.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really.
Public education needs it. So thank you guys so much for having me.
And if you'd like to know more, go on to the Jacksonville Public Education Fund. We'll be right back after these messages.